All right, dear, let's wave. Today we have a grudge to pick with our fellow Ghanaians. So if you're a fellow Ghanaian, you gotta listen
Fellow
tight,
Ghanaians.
fellow Ghanaians. So yeah, we've all been out of Ghana for a while. I mean, we do go back and forth, but we've been having some problems lately, and we thought you guys should understand and see if you guys are also going through it, and let's see how best we can resolve this issue. That is, even if we can resolve it at all. So, Mr. L, tell us what you've been through. I'll tell you guys mine later. I'm just trying to like simmer
I've not
down,
been.
Ah,
simmer down.
I've not been through.
it's just the thing is just about how, like, when you're out there, you struggle to, I mean, try to maybe even establish something back home, right? In terms of business. And I mean, there almost every, I dare say, almost every Ghanaian who's outside wants to invest back home, even if they don't want to live there. Sometimes they want to invest back home, and if things are doing well, they can go back or just maybe still live outside, but that business could help them take care of their families and all that. And sometimes they set up these businesses, put it in the hands of family or people, and they run the whole thing down. This is a big, big problem, right? So that's the main bone of contention. That's what I want to hit on.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, but I've had it too. Like personally, I've been through it. It's like I'm not gonna say every time, but majority of the time, if you kind of believe, okay, I'm gonna give either like a sort of like business or service related to somebody that is probably like African or Ghanaian to handle, because
Mhm.
it's your people. You would rather think let me help them make some money as well. But it's almost like every time they disappoint you.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, this is not me
why?
exaggerating.
Why? Why?
Almost every single time you get this, and the why is what I don't know.
Why that mentality? That is where I also struggle to. At the end of the day, we are all trying to survive here, right? We are all
hmm
trying to be wealthy or whichever way, but we want to survive. That's the main aim. You go out of your way, you sacrifice. What you sacrifice, they don't even know, because some
hmm
some some would go get a loan and they are working like 24 hours non-stop just to clear that loan. But because they want to set up that kind of business and create that kind of comfort environment for friends and family, they tend not to actually appreciate. And I don't
yeah,
understand why. I don't understand the why, that mentality. No, that is why we are
Just the
here.
why, I get it. Just
No,
the why.
but that is why we are here. Maybe you guys can figure it out. I, why?
Yeah,
Why?
my Ghana people, why? Because to be honest, it's like I've kind of noticed. I'm not gonna say almost every single country or race or whatever it is, but I kind of find it like if you come to Ghana, right? If you meet the Lebanese community, they help each other out. If you meet the Indian community, they help each other out. But even us being here in China, right? You meet your own Ghanaian people, and it's like they want to rip you off.
hmm yeah,
And I've had that
yeah,
instance many, many, many times. I never understand that. And then it's like you need something done. You're like, okay, you have a lot of like Chinese entities you can just employ their service. But you're like, okay, I have a
yeah,
Ghanaian business guy who's set up here, so let me just try to like support him. And then it's like they always disappoint.
hmm
Just like Mr.
yeah,
L now, he's trying to get his website done, just like I did mine.
yeah,
Mine I did with like not a non-African. I'm not gonna say which country person did it. It's kind of relevant. But the point is, I needed some updates or upgrades done, and then I gave it to a guy from one African country, which I'm also not gonna say, just not to smear any country's name. But then the same thing, this guy did a crappy job, and he started making excuses after excuses. I'm gonna do it today. Oh man, my wife was leaving the country, so I had to drop her off at the airport. But I'm like, that's got nothing to do with me. The agreement,
hmm
we actually had a contract. It was gonna be done in a week, and
hmm
it took over 2 months.
yeah,
But the thing is,
yeah,
it's like sometimes they don't understand that you're losing money. It's like opportunity cost. My website was offline for 2 months.
yeah,
It
and
doesn't make sense, and I've
yeah,
already paid you because, like I
yep,
said, it
hmm
wasn't like an ordinary person. It was just like an African person you're also trying to like support. So
yeah,
once we signed the contract, I'm like, no, it's like just I just paid him up just so we can get the job. Maybe that was a mistake on my part.
hmm
Again,
now
my
because
question
you
is
trusted
why?
him and you didn't
Why?
see any reason why he would disappoint you, right? And you thought that, okay, this is not a big deal. I mean, yours took like what, 2 months?
Two
Mine
months.
it's been over a year running, and I still don't have the final thing. And I kind of think that if maybe I would jump forward and try to put the blame on the where that this thing is coming from, I think it also has to do with our culture, our way of doing things. When you relate with or when you interact with people, I would specifically say maybe Europeans or people in the West, even if it's your friend, when you go out and eat, you pay your part, I pay my part. You know, that kind of 50-50 thing, going Dutch thing. We in Africa in general, let me narrow down to Ghana, we don't have that thing, right? If I invite you to eat, I'll say, oh, Massa, forget, I will just pay for you. I think that thing is actually hurting us because we're not able to make that distinction between when we should be friendly and when we should not be. We put business together as friendship. But any serious businessman will tell you when it comes to business, it doesn't matter if you're my friend or not. If it's 50-50, it's 50-50. But I think for us, the cultural aspect has overshadowed that aspect. So even
but what you said, you made a
Yeah.
very valid point. But another thing is like if you volunteer to pay, that's fine.
yeah,
But
right.
sometimes it's almost, especially when you come from abroad, right? And you invite a few friends to have
Yeah.
dinner or something like that. It's
Yeah.
almost like everybody's expecting you
to pay because you
and I do
just
not
touched down.
understand that.
And
Yeah,
it's the
but
cultural thing.
what's that got to do with? Does it mean you're rich because you traveled overseas?
That's the mentality because culturally we think that anyone who's flown on a plane before is richer than the person who is back home.
Yeah, if
So-
you volunteer, it's fine, I understand that, but it's like, do
Yeah.
not expect people to pay. But secondly, also, like you said, the thing that, like Mr. S was saying, like, is it a cultural thing? Is it just because people are not that
Listen,
and well versed, like they're not experts in what they're claiming to be experts in, so they cannot deliver as they promised? It's like, what is it? Where does it lie? Or is it
I
just
tell
a
you,
plain
let-
trust
let-
issues?
Let me tell you what I think. The mistake also comes from it's both sides, right? So you talked about establishing or starting a business with a brother or a friend, right?
yeah,
Where probably that brother has no knowledge about that business, and that is the first mistake.
hmm
Because at the end of the day, he will turn around and say, "Yeah, but I didn't, I you know,
I
me,
didn't know
I
about
didn't
it.
know,
It's
I
not
have
my
no
fault.
knowledge." That is one. Two,
hmm
sometimes they will come up with that business, but we don't ask questions. We just want to jump in because it is a brother or a friend that is bringing. But the truth is, maybe their business is just a short-term business where they are doing it purposely to gain something in the next 1 month. So it is from a selfish point of view, right? But you don't
Yeah.
know, and then you jump into it. So yes, they have and we've been there, so I can see we have a mentality where we don't feel responsible for anything as long as it is, especially the initial capital is not from me. And you
Good
can,
point. I think it starts from the top.
yes,
It starts
yes,
from the
and
top.
Yeah.
you cannot
From the
come and-
government, right? Accountability,
Good.
responsibility is something we're not very good at.
And you cannot come and question me because we are friends. You are my brother.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
I've chopped your small money, why they come complain? So the
Yeah.
problem is from both sides. We in the diaspora, we also quick because I understand, you know where you're coming from. So if it's an opportunity to help to set up a business, then yes, I want to do it. But we don't ask questions
let's-
like hold on. We don't ask questions like
Yeah, land the plane, land the
business
plane,
minded
yeah.
business. This is the point. We don't ask the questions like business minded people. Somebody who is ready to do proper investment. So like you're saying, our other friends and countries from other, the Caucasians and whatever, they will ask you in 3 months, what will be my benefit? What is your your plan for the next 2
Yeah.
years? What is your plan for the next? These
Yeah.
are the questions we don't ask. So we always find because we tend to do things a lot of those things we do it through sympathy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That I did not mean to cut you off, but the point that I was trying to make is that let's be honest with ourselves, and this might rub people off the wrong way. Do you honestly believe if you had employed, the services of a Chinese local company, right? Do you think this would have happened? Let's
Nope.
be honest.
I think
it wouldn't
But you
it
know
would
why
have.
it wouldn't happen? Because the Chinese don't have any emotional family friendship link or old school mate link. He has created a business, and his sole purpose is to make sure that business thrives. And so if you come in and you want to drag your feet, if you come in and you want to slow production and everything, you get fired because there's no link. But try it. Set up a company. Ask somebody to set up a company. Employ a family member. They will go to work as and when they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's more about understanding how to run a business or a service, business, and people do not really understand how to do that.
Yes.
Because do not make any mistake. It's like if you lose one client, that one client can put so many bad reviews on different platforms. It's gonna hurt your business. But I
Yeah.
feel like we don't understand. We just feel like, oh, snub this guy. If he left us, somebody else will come. So we don't really have that sort of like, understanding about how to run a business and like, keep clients or, people you engage, keep them as, recurring clients or recurring customers. We just make that one time like, money and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be
Yeah.
honest, it's a very, very, very bad culture because, like you said, rightfully, even the Chinese know about this. One guy, like you mentioned, said the same thing, as in like he knows almost every African overseas wants to do business back home,
Yes.
but they just don't because they have no people to trust back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not even like a phenomenon. It's like everybody really knows that now. Most of
Yeah.
us out here want to do something back home, but we just have nobody we can trust back home. I'm not saying like it cuts across the board. I know that some people helped or partnered with people overseas and
You're
it worked,
talking
but
about
it's
the
like
percentage here.
majority. It's
Yeah.
like I'm sure everybody overseas has that story.
Yes.
Either it's like putting up a house, starting a business, sending the money to do something. It's like there's always gonna be that mismanagement of funds.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we're saying, I think like I would still say that it comes from that cultural thing where I think we're too cordial to the point where it even influences it eats into our business mentality. So like Kennedy Japan always says, Honorable Kennedy Japan, you can't do business if you're too friendly. He's not saying that because you should be mean. He's saying that because a spade is a spade.
Firm. Yep.
If I give you $100, I invest $100 and I'm getting $20 in profit in 6 months. Whether you make the profit or not, I should get my $60. I mean my $20. Or when we make that profit, don't come later and tell me, oh, my child was sick, so I had to spend all the money on his hospital bills and later. No. Most Western people, you do that whether you're his friend or not. He's suing you in court and he's never talking to you
Yeah.
again.
That is another
But
side.
we don't have that thing.
We don't
Once
have,
people
we don't have
talk, oh,
contracts.
okay, I know your daughter was sick, so but in some places they don't accept those excuses. You can't even say it because it wasn't part of the deal.
Yes.
The deal didn't say that when your child is sick and you use the money. The thing is, okay, I can decide, okay, fine, I accept your child was sick, you spend all the money, but how soon are you willing to repay? But we will not ask that question because you don't want to lose that kind of face. Hey, even my child was sick, he doesn't even want to have mercy.
But that is what they will say because that is the culture, like you said. But that shouldn't be because business is an investment, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me add more to that. I've never done that before and I hate doing that. Sometimes it's like, even my wife tells me that, it's like, but why didn't you just, tell her the honest truth? But I'm like, I just don't like using my kids as an excuse. And there was once even like a company I used to work for like a couple of years ago, the same thing. The boss was a Chinese person. And there was one Chinese lady who was trying to say something about her kid, and she told her the exact same thing. Never ever use your kids as an excuse. Whether you were late because of them, whether she was sick or something, it's like, don't bring them up. It might be true, but it sounds like you're just using your kids as an excuse. So don't ever do that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's like, at what point do we try to realize? I'm sorry, do we start realizing that we're actually hurting ourselves as opposed to thinking, oh, you're kind of spending somebody else's money? Because if somebody's giving this money to open up a business, think about it. If you do a great job, what are the chances you're going to be part of this success?
Yeah.
And if you spend that money just that one time, you blowing off, your whole kind of like, any hope of actually being part of something big.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you create that trust, I put up one house, even if I'm renting it out, I'm going to put you in charge. If I bring in a car, you do a great job. Hey, either you use it for Uber or you can actually like, keep the funds or take care of the savings, you're going to get your cut. But if you mess it up, why would I come back to you again?
Yeah.
But they don't
So in
care.
the end, are you hurting me or are you hurting yourself?
No, you see, you're kind of a deep thinker. I think, and this is not me shading my own people, but the truth is, most of our people back home, they are just short-term thinkers. They are just short-term. Because like you
I think in Japan said that thing, myopic thinkers.
yes, myopic,
Yeah.
but they're just short-term. They just think about, I can get it today and tomorrow and it's finished. But look at it. You just made an example. If I bring a job, right, a business, and you can say, okay, bro, I can take just 1% of that business and I'll do anything apart from the money you are paying me, you can pay me a salary, but I also want a percentage. How many Ghanaians ask for percentages in anytime you do something with a Ghanaian, they just want no
Give me something small. Yep, give me something small.
You understand?
Yeah.
My Chinese partner I come home with every now and then. He always tells me, he said, Ghanaians are too short-minded.
Yeah. I mean,
You take the
tobacco,
local
you
fuel money,
yeah.
next time that business that you're supposed to actually ask for that 1% or 0.1 or something would become a huge industry.
Yep.
But that time and then you keep going there for local fuel. We don't have, instead of doing the documentation, instead of leading and helping everything to be sorted properly, then you can ask a certain percentage, or you ask your percentage and then help. And then in the future, if it's successful, you eat in this business for. We don't do it. We just want local fuel.
Yeah, it's just like tobacco. You were telling me about a friend who said he wanted the latest whatever inch flat screen TV and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy is still using hand tools for his business.
Yep.
He hasn't even thought about power tools to
Exactly.
expand
We
his
don't
business.
think long
It's
term.
always short
We
term,
think
short
more
term.
about flashy stuff. It's like,
I mean, we are here. China is where almost everything is produced. How many Nike shoes have I bought in all my years in China? Probably maybe one. That one, even it was hard to even take that money out. But you go
And then
home
the
and
one
you
you
see
stole
people
from me.
wearing, and you go home and then you see people wearing even shoes that are better than you, who is closer to the source. What does that tell you? It tells you that we're always thinking about the flashiness. I mean, Jack Ma, one of the richest guys in China, one time the richest guy in China or Asia. Jack Ma rides his bicycle wearing kung fu sandals, not better shoes. What is he thinking about? He's thinking about expanding his empire. But what do? Short term. I need to get those Nikes. I need to get those gold chains. People need to see that I'm wealthy. And
iPhone 17
yes, yes. And
Pro. I don't even know what's wrong with people.
it's kind of like people like Despite. We have very few of them. You know, they don't want to be on any interview. You don't see him anywhere. He's always in his simple clothes. You know, but the majority, the mentality is, oh, this guy is bringing money to set up business. Maybe he has enough. So let me just
Yeah.
misuse this one. He'll
All
bring
right.
again.
Let's learn the whole thing. How do we
Yeah.
fix this? How do we fix it?
For me, I believe you have to be mentally strong and structured. You should stop if you have your money and if you have a business, anybody that you want to start something with from back home, get a contract, put a contract down. If they are willing to go by the contract, where if something happens, you can use the contract and just get the police to arrest. And I know even with the police, there's a whole brouhaha about that one too. But I kind of look at it. Why is it that when a foreigner sets up a company, they are willing to go through the mail and work for it to set
For
up?
them.
Why?
Yeah.
Because there is contracts, or there are contracts, right?
Yeah.
So if you can structure yourself like that, or then if you want to give the money, just give it and don't expect anything back, then it's okay. But if you really want to if you want to invest and make some capital out of it, then you have to be structured. And
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So it's like you being outside, right? You're trying to either, I don't know, put up a business, start a business, open whatever it is when you're going to put up a house, let's say. How do we get people to kind of like change that mindset to the point that they understand that they're not just doing it for you? In the long term, they're also going to benefit.
Yeah. I think I'll take it from both angles. Sometimes we have to be honest. Sometimes some employers do make a mistake of not setting up proper systems to monitor and to manage the system. We always use this, okay, I am the boss, I control everything. I think that we have to move away from there and start using systems. For example, you set up a restaurant, there's a clock in and clock out system.
yeah,
And the policy says if you clock in late 5 times, you're automatically fired. Or your clock in, clock out is linked to your salary. We don't do anything about it. You set up a system where in the computer age, let somebody set up a system where your clock in and clock out time is linked to your salary. Once you flout it, nobody's going to touch you. You know that you're going to lose money at the end of the month. So I'm just giving this as an example that if we can't do it face to face, which is very difficult for us Ghanaians or Africans to do, because if you have a cousin or a niece, you can't go and be shouting at them and say, why are you late and all that. It's very difficult. We have to be honest. We are not like other people. But if you have a system that controls your whole setup, then it's very easy. You don't have to say anything. You cause it yourself. These are the consequences. I think until business owners start to establish some of these systems that we see in the Western countries, I don't think it will change, honestly. I mean, we all worked in China before. You have times that you have to sign in. We had this, what is that system, tobacco, we used to use? When you get to work, yes, they had this,
Yeah, yeah.
we had this app. You only can sign in when you connect to the company's Wi-Fi. So you
Yeah,
can
I
be
get that.
somewhere, yeah, you can be somewhere and say, oh, I sign in, but you're still on your way.
No
No.
work.
And
Yeah,
the person who is,
can I
yeah,
cut you for a split? I feel like
yeah,
I'm kind of like, I don't know, derailing from the topic. The topic was like, how do we get to trust people back home, right? How do we get them to understand that it's not easy making money overseas? So if we bring money back home, they're supposed to take care of it because it's gonna be in both of our interests, right?
so
We're talking about like ordinary
yeah,
family, friends, stuff like that. I understand the concept of employers and employees, but we're talking more about casual, ordinary people
Yeah.
who do not take care of our assets and money when we send them back home, and we've all have those people.
I have
I think
somebody told me
let
this.
let
Let me.
let me just finish up before you come in. I think that when it comes to family and friends, understanding that it is honestly very hard to control. And I still go back to this my thing like Stephen was talking about. When you send money for a specific thing, I think maybe we should set timelines that needs to be followed. Because when you just send it without any structure,
Yeah.
it's going to end up the same way. I think everything
Yeah, but I mean, you
has
can
a
have the
structure to
timeline,
it.
but there are cases that people even take other people's buildings, pictures, and send
No,
it to the guys
it is
overseas
true.
and say, "See, this is the phase we are at."
I
So
was
it's
I was I
yeah,
was
they're gonna be like, yeah,
I was
you
about
think
to
you know
even
your house is really progressing, but then it's like you
Yeah.
go back home and it's like nothing has been built.
yeah.
There's been people who go literally
Man,
crazy because of this kind of
no,
stuff. They
it's
invest
true.
$200,000, $300,000. They get home and it's not even like the plot of land. There's actually nothing
No
worth for them.
foundation.
Yeah,
Yep.
Nothing.
it's happening.
So how do this is what I'm saying? How do we change this mindset?
I
How do
learned
we get people
something.
to understand
I,
that long term it benefits all of us? Yeah.
I learned something, but it still has not worked. The thing is, you don't go in 100%, right? Let's say it's a business. We are talking about business. The building is different. Building is also a whole new world, right? But let's say you want to start a business. For me, they will not change much. You have to change, right? So the change is if, let's say you talk to a friend or a family member and, okay, this is what I want to do. What is your interest? Do you want to be part? Then they have to show some commitment. Sometimes when they have some commitment, especially financially, they tend to behave a little bit better because they tend, not, I use the word carefully, they tend to behave a little bit better, right? Because they know if it works well, then we'll profit. But both will profit. Okay, this is the contract, you get 50%, I get 50% or whatever, right? But sometimes it will happen like that, and they'll still come and tell you that your 50 will not be able to come because of,
Or even when it succeeds, they will end up taking everything.
yes,
Yeah.
it's very,
The point is, like I said, I feel like you guys are all making it like a business discussion, which I do understand.
No,
But we
no.
talk about like saying
Let me
putting
finish.
up a house. You cannot tell somebody to
No.
put in 50% or
No,
30%.
hold on.
It's your house. Yeah.
Tobacco, listen, I said with the
Mm-hmm.
building houses is different. I'm just talking about first the business, then the house thing. The house thing, you just have to. They said we should pray, so you have to pray because no, let me finish. No, because you are not there. You cannot be there. You understand? You cannot be there. So you just have to hope and pray that, okay, I've found a genuine person. Because even you can even go ahead and say, okay, I don't want to use family. I'm going to get these construction firms that will build for you. And still they are there. There are people there that will cheat you. They've done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I counter that? I'm thinking, okay, business wise, I mean, to be honest, it's gonna be very difficult to find anybody in
Yes.
Ghana who would be like, yeah, I'll put in 30%. Trust me, it's almost impossible. The next thing I'm thinking is, do you think if we separate, right, the funds, that would make more sense? Let's say, okay, you help me put up a house or manage my business, whatever it is, right? I'm gonna bring, let's say, $1,000 for cement bags, okay? But then I'll bring you like 50 extra. That would be like, let's say, your your local fuel, right, on the side. You know what I mean? Well, I'll bring you $2,000. Okay, get these guys organized. Go get like the foundation set up. $200. That's your pretty much your pay or Yonoko fuel. Would that make more sense? Would people rather be more honest like that rather than say this is $2,000, go put up the foundation?
Man, somebody who is Nigerian say somebody who is wicked and is
Mm-hmm.
bent on sucking you dry will do so, even if you give them extra.
Yes.
I mean, in
Yeah.
most cases, like you're saying, most cases we all do, or you give them extra for TNT for your time and all that. And I know most foreigners do that, but still it happens. So I just want to say that I think it will be very difficult to go into people's minds now and say, okay, we can do this and this and that. I just think that if you are outside and you want to send money for constructing a house or any kind of thing you want them to do for you on your behalf, I think that no matter how hard it is, you should also try to go down there quite often if you're serious about it.
No.
Otherwise, you're
You
going
You
to
know, I
lose
wanted
your
to
money.
come to that, and a
No,
lot of
no,
people
no.
say that.
Yeah.
Hold
Yeah.
on, but I agree, and I also
To
disagree
some
because
extent, yes.
Yeah.
you need to understand buying tickets, flying out, they come back. It's not cheap.
Yes.
So if you
That is
think
not
about, let's say, $1,500, you can
agree.
actually invest it into
Yeah.
either the house or into the business.
I
And
agree,
also,
but I agree.
Let me talk
Mhm.
about and also documentation. You know, being in a foreign land is not easy. You need your document to survive, and some people have been there. Yeah, so
Yeah, sometimes it's almost impossible
yeah,
to
it's
just fly in.
impossible. Yeah,
But then on the flip side, also, I think you got a point. You should do that.
Yeah, I
You should
understand
do
that.
Yeah.
A lot of people, some people have problems, they can't leave and all that. That's unique. But in the case where you can, I mean, if all things being equal, I would prefer to spend, let's say, $1,000, $2,000 every year or every now and then when I have the time to go myself to inspect and to make sure a project that is costing me $100,000, $200,000 is going on, rather than where I know that I can go, but I'm depending on someone saying that, oh, I can save this $1,000, $2,000 because my brother or my friend is taking care of it, and then 2 3 years later you go and there's nothing for you. So I think relative to that, it's better to spend that little money if you can afford it than to sit abroad and say, oh, somebody's doing it on my behalf, and then you end up losing $100,000. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so how about
Yeah.
just going in, doing as much as you can, and then you go back. It's like doing it at your own pace and at your own time.
Right.
Whenever you can go home, you go and you do a part of it, and then you leave.
Yeah.
Nobody's in charge. You take care of
like
your
you
own.
said-
Exactly. That's another way. Like we're saying, that's if you can afford. I think it will save you a lot in the long run than you go 1 2 months, come back, and then for the next 6 months you keep sending money. You don't know what's happening. Like you're suggesting, if you can afford it, I think it is a better way to spend that your $200,000. Going every twice a year or once a year. You go, you stay for 1 month. In 1 month, there can be a lot done in construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think when it comes to like house or your personal projects, if you can afford, I think it's a better solution because it's really, really hard to trust anyone. It's happened to millions of people, so the evidence is out there.
Yeah. Mr. S, you want to add something last before we wrap it up?
Charlie, they say you should pray. That's the only thing. Because no, you just
When you're sending the money, you just gotta go. God,
let it
I hope
Pray and
this is
hope.
what it's
use it for
intended
what
for.
they're asking me to. I've talked
Yeah.
it out for $1,000. Just that you just pray because, like you're saying, the sensible thing is for you to go in and out and get your project done, right? And the other sensible thing is you trust a brother, you trust a cousin, you trust a friend. Say, okay,
Yeah.
listen, I'll always, and we always top up. We always even quadruple. And even you top up in 2 days' time, they will come with their personal story and you still give them, right?
Yeah.
So you hope, you understand. That is all you can do.
And the other thing with the construction is sometimes you know that they will just tell you, oh, now cement is expensive. Heaps of sand is one truck load of sand is expensive. But you know that if you were there, you could probably negotiate better.
Yeah.
But maybe because the money is not coming from there, once they say, you don't even know if it's true what they're saying.
Yeah.
But you just hear 1,200 Ghana cedis, and you have to send. Oh, can you bid it down a little bit? Like, no. I tried, but you don't even know if they're adding something on top of it. So,
for me, even
yeah.
for me, there's a guy saying, where you work, that is where you chop. Right? So
Yeah, but sometimes the chopping is too much.
I know, but the thing is, you see where our pain is coming from is you know they've added something to it. You know they're cheating you, but you just I'll pay. I just get my thing done, and then you
Yeah.
go, and then the thing is not done, and that is where the problem is. You understand? And how do
Yeah.
you solve that? Am I too much trying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. I also believe that it's pretty much what Mr. S said. It's more of, I think it's almost like what we do at the top in our governments. Because if you look at China here, right, the amount of development that goes on, it's not because there is no corruption. No, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the point is, even if somebody's gonna kind of like, skim something off the top, the work gets done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the way I've always seen the way that Africa gets put on this platform or this pedestal about corruption. We kind of like, spearheading corruption, but it's just because we go all out. It's like 100,000. We just sweep it all off. We do not actually get the job done. You know what I mean? But other places, it's like, no, we've heard stories here. Officials get arrested, they get even executed and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you can tell the work gets done. It's just sometimes they skim something off the top or contract, awarding contract. They take something under the table to favor some companies. But for us, it's just like, our friends and family do. I really know, Mr. S knows. There is always gonna be, they're gonna blow up the money a little bit, or skim off the top. It's normal, but at least get the job done.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be mad because you spent $100. I brought you $2,000, so you spent $100. It's not a big deal, but at least get the job done. But for those who do not do anything, or do like really crappy job,
work. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. That's where I have the problem.
You know what? You know what I'm laughing.
We gotta do better, man.
You're asking for the solutions, right? And I was like, I think this is how it should go these days. You go, they take you to the site, if it's a construction, and you say, okay, so I sent $50,000. This is what you did. Then you turn around and ask, who can show me the most powerful fetish priest in this town? When they tell you, okay, wait for me for 3 days. I'm coming. I'm going to Pelekpeji or Antwa. I'll be back in 2 days. You will see how people rush your house and start begging. That's the only way, man. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I really do think we got to change our mindset. Because I understand everybody, like, Mr. S said, everybody got to eat. I understand that. But, eat and get the job done. For me, I think you can do both. It doesn't have to be just one side. You can eat and still get the work done, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you've experienced anything like we have, drop it in the comment section. Let us know about what you went through by trusting somebody back home to get something done for you, but it never happened, or they did like a partially like shoddy job. We'll see you on the next episode. DL is out.
Peace.